And here we go. We've got severe weather in the plains into the middle Mississippi Valley. We have nice weather in the Northeast, as was plainly most of the Northeast, as was plainly evident today. In fact, up and down the East Coast. But there are changes that are going to lead to, well, good old summertime, and that is all coming up, and so much more, so very much more on tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show. And now the big test is whether you're still doing the Lou Gehrig speech. So we'll find out soon enough.
You want me to say something?
Um,
Today,
okay,
I am the luckiest. I am
just
the luckiest man.
just a moment, just a second. I just realized something. We'll find out in a moment. I have, for some reason, let me see if that's the one. Let me get rid of it. Move.
Can I talk to you? I'd love to talk to you, Joe. You're one of my favorite people. Um, I'd like to make a request. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? This is Uncle Joe talking, waiting for the other Uncle Joe to fix his. Can I try something, Joe? Hang on for a second, just to make sure that it's not my headphones or whatever. I'm now I'm now taking my headphones off and I'm talking to you using just the microphone on the camera. Do I still sound the same? 1 2 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5. Hello, Joe. Joe. Okay. Yeah, I now I hear you. I hear you now. Yes.
This is it. Testing 1 2 3. Okay, I'm talking. 1 2 3. Okay, good. Now you talk.
1 2 3
I
one
th-
two
I
three.
think I think it, we I think it's fixed. I think it's fixed. So let's see what happens. If the folks on the chat board, okay, I know I was doing sign language. You should be able to hear me now because I can see I have levels. Okay, so just give it a few seconds. I know I'm not on. Just give it a minute. So just give it a second. You should be able to hear me. Ah, fixed. I performed magic. Okay. So anyway, uh, that is now corrected. You're working. I'm working. There's no echo. Okay. So anyway, I can happily report there was no rhinoceros sighting last night after the uh, mountain lion, although or bobcat. It was probably a bobcat because it looks like the picture was blown up a bit. But nonetheless, it was among so many lovely creatures that we have here. Meanwhile, Joe, we have to going to have to listen to uh, the folks, the general population are going to just remark how uh, we're going to go straight from cold, wet, and raw most of the time to temperatures in the low to mid 90s on Saturday, and act as if It's never happened before, and I just, I guess I want to just say, just to make myself, um, make myself happy. This happens every year. Every single year in the Northeast, this is how it happens. If you haven't figured that out by now, then you need to pay a little closer attention. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, it's like yesterday with the tornado threat that they canceled the game at City Field. Schools were closing down early because of the threat of
Well,
tornadoes,
that
even though
was
the
that
threat
was
was
just, look, you don't want to second guess because we had those outbreaks of tornadoes in November and December, and
understood.
yeah, you don't want to
But
second guess, and I guess maybe they're at that point now because of what happened back then. They're thinking, you know what, just to be rather be safe than sorry, let them home early. I don't know. I just because if they don't, and God forbid something happens, then they're in trouble the other way.
right,
They can't win. I mean, at the end of the day, they can't win.
right. So what are you going to do? There's no one. So now you're complaining about the fact that we're going to have a surge of very warm, if not hot weather at the end of the week or into the weekend,
No,
start of the
I'm
weekend.
not complaining about the hot weather surging. I'm complaining about
No, 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 no.
the
What I'm
surge of
what I think you're
humanity.
complaining. What I'm saying is that it is being treated as if it has never happened before.
I
Is
know.
that correct?
Probably,
Yeah,
I'm sure it's going to be treated that way, and and
yeah,
and it's we bang our heads on the table all the time with this sort of stuff. I guess we should just learn to ignore it and not bring attention to it because that only makes it even worse. So I'm sorry I brought it up now. So
yeah.
anyway, um, actually
It
we
was a
could.
beautiful day today.
Oh, I'm sure.
It-
I'm sure it was. And
But yours truly, who is the connoisseur of weather, and for many years had defined the pick of the week, for example. Today we actually went broken around 1, 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon. We had a lot of cumulus development,
really,
and the sky actually was broken more sunny, more cloudy than sunny, and also the wind, Joe. My wife's spike plants, which look like miniature palm trees out in front of the house here, one of them got knocked down like 5 times by the roaring gusty winds out there. But tomorrow, if there's any good thing to say, I think we'll have fewer of those convective type cumulus clouds, and there won't be as much wind as today. In fact, the wind machine will be turned down quite a bit. And I think tomorrow, if you like today, you're going to love tomorrow. I think tomorrow will be a really beautiful day out there.
yeah. The only thing I was thinking of is that maybe some high clouds will start to come in later in the day from west to east, but they also may very well hold off. But uh, no doubt we're transitioning over into a hot. Well, I would let's call it a very warm to slash hot humid air mass because it's not going to get there instantly, but we are going to be doing that. We got a I guess we could call it a warm front that's going to come through Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. There'll be a few showers with that. Who knows? Might even be a rumble or two of thunder, and then that goes by, and then after that, it's all about the high off the East Coast and the southwest wind. And by the way, that air is coming from me, where we have been just absolutely gorgeous day in and day out. It was
Oh,
yeah,
it's your
it's
fault.
right. No, but no, it hasn't been hot here. It's been actually very comfortable. It's been getting to 80 every day, but the humidity has been pretty low. So initially, it's not going to be all that humid, really. It's later on, particularly on Sunday, where it's going to come into play with an approaching trough and cold front again, and I'm thinking. It's a little different this time because the trough is going to be positively tilted, but there's a sharp kink there that's going to be moving along with the front. We are going to see probably temperatures in the 80s on Sunday, so I'm going to think that there's probably going to be some level of severe weather risk that will be indicated by the Storm Prediction Center once we come into range. I'm predicting
Right.
that. That's my prediction. Does that work for you?
Well, Joe, I always agree with Joe Stradamus, so I'll agree with him here as well.
Well, no, we don't talk to each other during the day or when we look at our maps and things, but
No, you never call me.
no.
I never know what's going on.
Well, you
And
right,
you never write
exactly.
either.
I was going to say you never cared about me. All you ever wanted was supper on the table, no responsibility. Oh, good God. All right, so let's look at the satellite loop tonight. By the way, welcome to everybody tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show. We're glad to have you here. If you're new to the Joe and Joe Weather Show, you can hit the little old subscribe button on my YouTube channel and use your Gmail account so that you get notifications every time the Joe and Joe Show comes on, which is on most days. When we're on regular schedule, which much of this month we haven't been, when we're on regular schedule, it's Monday through Thursday at 7:30. We're off on Fridays and Saturdays unless there's some storm threatening, and then back on Sunday mornings. We do a show on Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern time, so that you can munch on your breakfasts or brunch and watch the Joe and Joe early, and then spend the rest of your Sunday enjoying the weather, assuming it cooperates. But not a whole lot happening tonight in the east. There are clouds in upstate New York and in northern New England, well up into upstate New York and northern New England. It looks like some little trough is rotating around the storm system from yesterday. That's up in eastern Canada. You see it there, just kind of twirling a bit. And now we have the energy from the next weather system. Now, this is going to start the whole process of getting that very warm and hot air into the east on Friday and Saturday, particularly on Saturday. But we've got some showers and thunderstorms blowing up tonight in parts of the plains, and we're going to take a look at that on the radar and see what's happening. And in fact, it's rather active. There's not a whole lot in terms of severe weather warnings. Actually, about half a dozen severe thunderstorm warnings that are up in parts of Kansas, particularly in northeastern Kansas. Looks like they're mostly north of Kansas City and Topeka, and they're sliding basically to the east. And there's a couple of other stray severe thunderstorm warnings in western Nebraska. We're seeing some showers moving into northeastern Missouri and western Illinois, southern Iowa. But here in the east, it's actually fairly quiet. Some showers well up into upstate New York and northern Vermont and New Hampshire. Again, that's that upper trough that's swinging in eastern Canada. But look at the rest of the East Coast. I mean, it's just absolutely quiet and clear down. You have to go down into north central Florida toward the East Coast where there's a cell that is moving eastward there. It looks like north of Daytona Beach. And the west is actually the west and the northwest on the quiet side. Getting some rain in Utah and Colorado and also in parts of West Texas, and that's a good thing for them. The Storm Prediction Center tonight looking for an enhanced risk of severe weather being indicated over the state of Kansas. We do have a working severe thunderstorm watch that is up for southern Nebraska and northern Kansas at the moment. Actually, even extends down into southwest Kansas. And the slight risk pushes a bit further to the east. For tomorrow, the risk area is going to diminish. We've got a marginal risk in the lower Ohio Valley extending back into Missouri. We have a risk area up in northwest Wisconsin and in east and northern Minnesota, and also another marginal risk area back in West Texas and Colorado on day 3, which covers the time frame for Thursday into Friday. We're looking at slight risk in Iowa and Minnesota and Wisconsin with the marginal risk around it and no risk here. And as we go through day 4 through 8, because we're still in the long range here, so the period for Friday into Saturday is where they have risk from Michigan down to northeast Texas. Now, Joe, they had the risk up for western New York and western Pennsylvania. They took it down and made it predictability too low. But I think this is the time frame. So this would be Sunday. This is Saturday into Sunday is day 5. So day 6 is now predictability too low, which is Sunday into Monday. This is where I think that we could wind up seeing maybe a little bit of risk being indicated for New England down into maybe Virginia. It's just an early guess on my part. I don't know what level of risk it'll be. I did notice that there was some jet streaks there on the 700 millibar, which are the 10,000 foot level maps that I'd like to look at, showing some jet streaks there. So we'll see how the model handles this as we get closer, because it's still too far out in the long range. But this would be like an early guess for me late in the day on Sunday.
Well, you did fairly well with the one that we had yesterday for quite a few days in advance, predicting that we might have something more than just general thunderstorms. And of course, it ended up being revved up to an enhanced potential for severe weather. So who's to say? Maybe we'll have something to deal with, uh, you know, later on in the weekend with this. We'll just have to wait and see. But as you mentioned yesterday, Joe, everything is moving along at a fairly good clip. We have a very progressive type of weather pattern, no sign of any kind of um, slowdowns or meteorological log jams, so to speak. No blocking of any kind. So, um, we'll have a bit of heat for a short time early in the weekend, possibly that next threat of showers and storms later in the weekend, and we may very well sweep right into another round of very nice weather, very lovely weather to kick off the early part of next week. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's not a bad pattern.
as long as
If you
as
don't
long
like the weather, just wait a little
yeah,
while.
as long as we don't have, as long as everything is moving from west to east, and we don't get into some kind of blocking pattern, and I really don't see that right now. We should be okay. Is it going to rain at some point? Of course it does. You've got weather fronts coming through. It doesn't look like a dry pattern. You're just be going from ridge to trough to ridge to trough. But at least you get a couple of days in between weather systems uh, to dry out and enjoy some nice weather. And it's not going to be particularly cool either. It'll probably be at least seasonal, maybe even a little bit of, probably also maybe most of the time might even be a little bit above normal for a change. Rainfall wise, I think the bulk of this is going to, we're going to get some of this Wednesday night into Thursday, and then we'll see what happens late on Sunday. But for now, WPC's got a half to three quarters of an inch being indicated. I don't have a real argument with that. A quarter to a half in eastern New England and also from southern New Jersey down in Virginia. Then it picks up in the coastal Carolinas over Florida. It's on the order of about three quarters of an inch to an inch and a half. Also along the central Gulf Coast. The middle Mississippi Valley with some 2 inch plus amounts there, extending up into the Great Lakes, where it's about three quarters of an inch to an inch and a half. Scattered quarter to half inch amounts, a few pockets of three quarters to an inch back in the northern and central plains and into the Rockies, Pacific Northwest. It's always raining there anyway, and most of the Southwest continues to be bone dry. So the first line of attention, I guess, after tomorrow is the fact that we've got this approaching system here. It's kind of a I hesitate to call it a cold front because the air behind it is actually going to wind up being warmer than the air ahead of it. That's one of the confusing
Right.
things about this time of year for folks is saying, you said a cold front's coming through. Well, how come it's not cold behind it? Well, it's drier, and technically it is a cold front, but because it's May, if you're sunny, you're going to wind up being warmer because you don't have clouds. So it looks like we'll get into some showers. Looks like the bulk of this is going to go by, I guess, draw a line from I don't know, Philadelphia to New York City. Uh, from there, north and west, where it might be a bit more. South and east of there, not so much. In fact, the NAM doesn't have anything for central and south Jersey and points south down into Virginia. And you can see the rest of the eastern two-thirds of the U.S. is just absolutely dry. It's just this one system that's going by. And then after that, and I shall switch now over to the GFS where we could see the isobars a bit better on the GFS, and we can go out in the time frame. It's all about high pressure that's off the East Coast that's going to basically be building back westward, and the next low that you see there in Colorado winds up flying up to the Western Lakes. So guess what? You've got a mega west west south southwest flow that starts on Friday. Now the only thing about Friday is I think the wind on Friday is probably going to be about 180, 190 in terms of the direction, 180 degrees, 190 degrees. So the immediate coastal areas probably are going to struggle somewhat, but just
Joe,
inland, it
Joe
should just inland it'll be in the
I don't want to
80s.
interrupt. Are you showing maps? Because I don't see maps
Oh yeah,
appearing on at
hold
least my
on.
screen.
Yeah, I'm sorry because I put us back full screen while you were talking and then I forgot to switch. Yeah, there we go. Now we are seeing maps. Thank you. So yeah,
Great.
there you go. If I'm talking about maps and you're not seeing the maps, that's a good thing. You let me know. But there's your warm
Yeah.
front that goes, well, cold front or whatever it is that goes through. I guess technically it's a cold front. Oh, what did she say?
I don't know. She came in very muffled. I think she's saying no maps.
Okay,
Or
well
I
we
still,
got.
in fact, I still am not seeing any maps either, Joe.
You're on a delay, Joe.
Um,
They're there.
I understand. I understand that, but
Yeah, you're
well,
on a.
I don't know.
They'll come up. So anyway,
Okay.
sorry about that, folks. It's one of those nights tonight again. At least we got the audio fixed. So here we go. So here's our warm front or cold front or both for Wednesday night into Thursday. Then that goes by. We have a southwest wind. I think it's going to be more of a south wind on Friday, but that won't stop the inland areas from heating up. And then Saturday looks like a southwest wind, like a 220, 210, 220, maybe even 230 in some places. So that should cause things to heat up. Maybe what did you think about well inland? Maybe a shower or thunderstorm, a scattered shower or thunderstorm, possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Why not?
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. I would go with that.
okay, okay, that's good. And then on Sunday, now here's the thing for Sunday. So clearly there is a weather front. This is Sunday evening, so probably won't see anything until late in the day Sunday. So most of the day side should be fine. But this is Sunday evening. I'm going to switch back to the radar version of this. Oh, by the way, in case you didn't know, for those of you who used tropical tidbits, Levi Cowan has expanded the European ensemble, the EPS, which you can find under the ensemble tab. If you go there, he's added a whole bunch of maps. So now with different parameters. So now it matches up exactly with the GFS ensemble and the Canadian ensemble. So just want to let everybody know about that. But here's Sunday, and there's your cold front with showers and storms Sunday evening. So again, much of the day side is fine. Those showers and storms go all the way down because that front's got a long trek that stretches all the way down to Louisiana. And then once that front moves offshore, it's the next high builds in, and will be cooler and drier into the first part of next week. And then maybe something coming out of the plains there for some severe weather along about Tuesday, perhaps Monday night, and then again on Tuesday night could be some sort of severe weather outbreak there. But we should be okay. And as Joe pointed out, everything moves along, so nothing seems to get stuck. And if the GFS, maybe we should lock the GFS in for right now for the Memorial Day holiday weekend because it would have Friday would be good. Saturday would be good, Sunday would be good, and Monday would be good. All 4 days. It'll be very warm
Well,
all 4 days too.
I have one problem with the GFS, Joe, and maybe now I say what you're showing right now is the 18Z
Yes,
run.
yes.
Okay.
Which
Make
is
a comparison
decidedly.
between the
I know. I saw the 12. See, I'm not. You talking about the tropical system?
well, the tropical system is nowhere to be found on the 12, and if you believe the 12Z run, we're actually covered in clouds and possible showers or rain
Well,
for
that's
part of the
well
okay.
that's because it brought the tropical system up and took it up the Appalachians. So it loses it once it gets well far enough north, but it brings all the rain up. But look, I'm going to say something right now with regards to this ridiculous system that the GFS, because we've been looking at this. It's been on the maps for the better part of the last 9 or 10 days, and it's gone absolutely nowhere. In fact, on this run, Joe, on this run, it's still not even showing. Now it's not even showing up until day 10. Okay? I mean,
Yeah.
who knows if this is real? I'm just beginning to wonder whether it just seems to have gotten it's bitten the bit in its teeth with this tropical wave. I mean, there is disturbed weather in the Southwest Caribbean. I could see it on the satellite, but it just seems to be fixated on this, and I'm not sure if that's a model problem because the European has a weak tropical wave that goes west, and who cares? The Canadian I didn't look at, but I bet you the Canadian doesn't have it either. Might as well just make sure in case I'm putting my foot in my mouth. Um, so look, I'm going to say this until such time. I mean, I know I've been saying in order to take it seriously, we have to get it at least inside the 7 day time frame. I'm at the point now where it's like I just want to ignore it completely because I don't even know where it's coming from because none of the models are looking having this at all.
Well, I've been complimenting the GFS over the fact that the last couple of years it seems to be ahead of the European in terms of picking up on tropical systems. But, I took a look at the 12Z and looked at the 18Z and I said, whoa, now there's a difference of opinion. So I think I think maybe we should just wait now until we're within the 240-hour range, and this way we can start making comparisons between the GFS and the European because the system that we've been watching has been beyond the 240-hour limit for the European.
Yeah, it's a waste of energy to even look at it until it gets inside until it gets at least inside day 7 if not day 5. It just doesn't seem to want this earlier today. There was something there already by day 5, a small indication of a circulation developing, and then all of a sudden now it's just waiting till day 10 again. We haven't progressed beyond the day 7 time frame for the last 6 days, pretty much. And by the way, I'm looking at the upper air on the European at least through 240 hours. I don't see any signs of any kind of blocking, so that's good. And that takes us to next Friday, the 27th, going into the Memorial Day holiday weekend, although it does have some kind of upper trough approaching. Meanwhile, the GFS, from just judging from what I had at the has at the surface, has a big ridge building a really big ridge building right along the off the New Jersey coast, come Memorial Day holiday weekend. So if you want a great Memorial Day holiday weekend, completely the opposite of what we had last year, here in the East, especially I mean in the Northeast, root for the GFS because if this is correct, it's going to be a very summery Memorial Day holiday weekend. And in the meantime, just ignore the tropical system because it really isn't worth our time to go to look at it every day and see virtually the same thing just 24 hours later.
Well, Joe, listen, I just finished the library talk and did a lot of stuff around the house today, and if you don't mind,
You know what?
because
Let's
I've been in this room now for 3 hours,
yeah.
and I'd like to escape.
All right. Well, let's call it. Let's just call it a short show tonight. By the way, there is a super chat hit. I can't see it. Oh, here it is. It's the chairman, Scott Briller, saying greetings from the COVID hospital job to the Great Weather family. Be well and be safe. I will listen on my way home. And yes,
Right.
definitely be safe. So look, let's call it a short show tonight. We fixed the audio problem, and we will tomorrow. What's the deal for tomorrow? What time?
Tomorrow and Thursday, I'm happy to say we'll be back on our normal 7:30 schedule. So
Beautiful. Life
everything
is
will
good.
be we're back to normal, no problems, and I'll be revved up and ready to go tomorrow and Thursday for show. I've been doing actually library talk 6 o'clock both tomorrow night and also Thursday night, but I'll be better. I'll be better tomorrow and Wednesday, I promise you. And to the chairman, I've had a Griller Jeopardy sitting in my mailbox now for the past several days. So if you will just hold on, Scott, we will get to Griller Jeopardy finally tomorrow night.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. So we'll see everybody tomorrow night. Sorry for the late start, but it is what it is, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good night, everybody.